This is a TLDR tier list for next week's Mutation. This is based on solo play because your ally is a random factor that cannot be accounted for. Also, this is based on above average co-op knowledge. Mechanical skill is not that important in co-op. Adjust these rankings based on your own knowledge and skill level. Okay, so for this mutation, it's a lot easier than it seems because some people think that it's hard due to the Avenger aberrations that slap the ship very quickly and very powerfully. But a few things. One, enemy comp doesn't matter very much because they only attack once every like 5 minutes or so. And that means you're not gonna have to, you don't really have to care about what they send at you. They also attack pretty much the same spot, which is they're gonna drop stuff at the natural. If they come with air units, sure, it's a little bit problematic if you're not ready, but basically they're not a huge deal. Second is that Eminent Domain is actually gonna work in your favor for many commanders, because if you surround the ship with structures, instead of the enemies breaking through and hitting the ship, the structures will be taken over by Amon and they will actually body block the aberrations and prevent them from surrounding the ship. Of course, you can't really fully surround the ship, not all the time. So if that's the case, then what happens is you're gonna have like just one spot where aberrations are gonna hit and you can just defend that spot, or at least you can hope to like outlast them. They will attack you for like the last maybe 10 seconds, hopefully, and hopefully that's not enough damage to destroy the ship. At least your ship will not get surrounded. And if you build a lot of structures, they will all just body block for you. So Eminent Domain is actually really good here. With that said, let's begin with Zeratul. Zeratul is of course really good on this map. You just trap the artifact and you mass cannons. If you don't want to use cannons because of Avenger, what you can do is make DTs. DTs are still really good, and you just have to avoid the fires. You can also make Abrogators and Immortals or Enforcers, and those guys will be very good once they have like 10 artifacts. He's probably not the best here, but he's still really good. And you have an avatar, you can use the avatar cooldown or avatar duration, the buff for the second artifact. And that means your avatar will last for the majority of the time of a ship, and you'll just have it like all the time. Your Void Rays, I guess you can use Void Rays, and those guys will just keep dealing damage from the sky, being unaffected by fire, and they will help you kill a lot of things. Yeah, so very good. You can also use Telbris Legion, and they will stay on the ground, spinning, dealing lots of AoE, while the avatar keeps them safe. Phoenix, also really good here. This one, you don't use P2, so you'll use P1, and you just mass carriers. So we love carriers, right? Mass carriers and scouts. Scouts are good because they deal extra damage to light units, and there are a lot of light infested, so that's great. And you block the ships with some cybernetics cores. Usually you would block with Stargates because they're most cost effective, but here Stargates might, if Amon takes the Stargates, he might start making units, and you don't want that to happen, so cybernetics cores will be fine. And that's it. You just mass carriers and lots of buildings to stall. Caldalis can be on the ground to help out as well. And another thing you can also do is you can turn on your Arbiter suit and just cloak all the stuff. Of course, that every 15 seconds you gotta redo it, but you can cloak, and unless it's the last ship, you can pretty much like stay still. You're not gonna get attacked, and the buildings will body block for you. So really good commander here. Vorazun is pretty good. Vorazun, I guess you're gonna do the normal stuff. You're gonna use the Dark Pylon Wall. If you don't know how to use the Dark Pylon Wall, it can be a little problematic. And if you don't know how to build it, then yeah, it's not great. You're not gonna use DTs as you normally would. You can make Void Rays. I guess Void Rays can also be pretty good. So I guess actually Void Rays might actually be good here, I guess, because they can deal damage to ground and air, and you can just black hole the big guys. Time Stop will also help you a lot here, so let's just bring her up here. She's gonna be fine. If you Dark Pylon Wall, that's great. I suppose if you don't Dark Pylon Wall, you just block the ship with cybernetics cores similar to Phoenix, and they will have to take their time destroying all your structures before they get close, while your Void Rays will attack from the air. You will also have Corsairs, and they will be using Disruption Web, so they will also stop the enemies from attacking. So that's great. Manx, super good. ESO to clear areas, and you just dump a lot of buildings. So you can put eBays everywhere to body block, and then at the ship you just have like 8 to 10 bunkers full of units, and you'll have so much DPS density that no one ever gets close. You do have to watch out for bunkers that are about to die. So if a bunker is about to die, just unload that bunker and let the units inside die, because if Amon takes it over, he's going to take all the units inside as well, and they will start attacking you. And that's not good. But even so, if there are 10 bunkers, you're probably just going to focus fire that bunker that was stolen, and that's the end of it. So yeah, he's really strong. Karax, I thought Karax wasn't really good because of Eminent Domain plus not enough damage and stuff, but if you use P2 and mass carriers, you'll be just fine. You won't be able to save the first ship, so you let it die, but by the end of the game, you're gonna have like, what, 15 plus carriers, and you're just going to kill everything. All your minerals are gonna be spent on like structures to body block, and you can also make reviving sentinels to body block some more. Make sure that you siege some energizers, because sometimes all your pylons will be gone from all those dudes attacking. So you want to still be able to warp in zealots to body block at the last minute if necessary. Stukov is also good. You don't want to use P3. You just use P1 and you just mass tanks. You do have some diamondbacks and you have some structures to like infest. If your barracks is uprooted and it gets destroyed, I don't think Amon takes it, but even if he does, he's not going to root it and make units, so don't need to worry about that. Infest structure plus tanks will just survive so long, and then when Banshees come later, I guess you can make Liberators, or you just let your Diamondbacks pull them down. There aren't that many air units anyways, so less like 8 to 10 Diamondbacks will be enough. The green slime will also stall or slow down the aberrations, but most of the time the aberrations are just going to be in the back getting distracted by the infested that are lobbed their way. Stetman, of course, also up here. He's good because, well, you have Super Gary, and then you can make air units like the Brood Lords. As long as you have enough Brood Lords, you're going to deal a ton of damage. You make a bunch of evolution chambers just around the ship, and then the rest will be like Lings plus Brute Lords and Super Gary dealing a lot of damage to everything else on the ground. Abathur is not very good on this map. So for this mutation, because the map has very little biomass, so it takes a while before it gets rolling. You will need to use air units, or you should use air units. You can also use ground, I suppose, a lot of swarm hosts, but maybe it depends on what you like. Either way, you should get Vipers, and Vipers are going to cover the ground with lots of the clouds, and that prevents the aberrations from destroying the ship. You will spend your minerals on evolution chambers blocking the ship, and you probably want like 2 layers, not just 1, but 2 layers of evolution chambers, since you'll have so many minerals left over. You just build a ton of evolution chambers with those minerals, and you use the blinding cloud to prevent aberrations from damaging them when possible, and you use air units to distract them. If you're going for swarm hosts, you can also just use swarm hosts to block them, because you'll make so many that you'll destroy them, and then you'll make so many hosts that you'll just have like moving bodies everywhere. The hard part is getting to that point. So yeah, if you don't get to that point, then there's no game to play. Tychus, you use P3 and you just win. You can also use P2 and just win. Either way, play normally. Zagara is actually fairly good on this map. Well, for this mutation, there's nothing really stopping that. Evasion is good. Ling armor reduction is good. Bio launchers are good. You're gonna spend most of your money on bio launchers, and if you have to deal with like the 2 o'clock ship on the far right, you just make bio launchers on the high ground, and you like 10 bio launchers and have them shoot at certain spots, and then you have your evolution chamber wall just like everyone else. You just I remember playing this and I had like 7,000 minerals at the end or something like that. A lot of money at the end. So it's not crazy difficult, even though it is this map. As long as you know how to use your bio launchers, that is. If you don't, well, that's a different problem. Han and Horner is not so good for this one. So you can use P2 mass air, that's great. You can also use E-base to wall off, and that's okay. However, on the ground, they don't have much of a presence. So if you lose too many units, if you lose your wall, they're gonna attack the ship, and that's no good. Hellbats can fear some units, that's great, but not perfect. You probably just want a huge air fleet and hopefully deal enough damage to them before they destroy the ships and stuff. The good thing is that enemy comp doesn't matter so much, so even if you're fighting an air comp, you can still just use your air units and take them out really quickly. I remember this one, like, I was starting to run out of money towards the end, so kind of shows that it's not as great as the other guys. Swan is fine. He has turrets, so this one you can go like mass wraith and stuff, but you want some ground presence at least. So what you can do is you have mass towers, and then you have some tanks for more AoE. You do have to pre-clear and then let the fires go away. Wait for the fires to go away before you move in with your Herc plus SCVs. Mass build, you probably want like 2 or 3 layers of turrets so that even if one layer goes down, they will not get through to all the way to the ships. And you have a bunch of tanks in the back to make sure that they don't touch the ship. Alarak, super great on this map. This mutation, you just mass destroyers and you win. Alarak will be on the ground, so if you don't want him to eat your destroyers, you have a bunch of supplicants to the side near Alarak, but not so close that they will fight and die as well. So Alarak's kind of in the front and close enough to a supplicant that he'll just eat them, while your destroyers are just doing a ton of work. And yeah, you use the abilities and that's it. You can have like war prisms or some structures to body block or overcharge. All of those things will be good. Kerrigan, you can do Kerrigan 100% this one. So yeah, if you make Mutalisk, it'll be even easier. 100% Kerrigan is doable. If you add Mutalisk, it'll be even easier. So yeah. Raynor is fine. He's not like easy, but he's actually pretty strong in the late game because he'll have a lot of minerals, which means you're just making a lot of E-base to block, just like a lot of these other guys. And you have a strong air fleet that does tons of damage to whatever's on the ground. And because it's minor evacuation, the enemies don't have much anti-air, so they're not really gonna be able to fight back against your stuff. Artanis is not so great, but he's not terrible actually. I rewatched my run and I realized it's the same plan with most of these guys. You use structures to wall the aberrations or whatever, eminent domain pseudo wall, and then or stall, and then you have air units. So his tempests aren't exactly the best, but they're actually good enough. And you're gonna use delayed unbound fanatics to stall if necessary. You can also just shield overcharge a bunch of zealots and your cyber cores, and that will also stall for like a third of the time. 38 seconds, really long time. Pretty good. The last two, I don't think there's much to say. Nova is obviously super good, so you just do the usual Liberator Raven stuff. eBay wall if necessary, and Dahaka, you make lots of mutas. So no, Guardians and Mass Guardians with a few mutas, and you want to make sure you have enough structures at the ship so that you don't lose ground presence. You want to maintain ground presence. You can use Primal Worms and stuff, but Primal Worms, they will get taken over and Amon will take them, so you have to get ready to take them out. So Primal Worms are not exactly the best. Double life pack leaders will be good though, so you can use P2.
That's it for this tier list. You can extrapolate this info to your duel runs. Good luck with the mutation.